Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Georgia Virtual College Fair. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. And this is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website where you registered. Now I'll turn things over to our presenters. We are here in session E2. And unfortunately, we don't have our first presenter from JTech Institute with us this evening, so we'll start things off with Kalamazoo College.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. My name is Madeline Betts, and I am the admission counselor for Kalamazoo College. A little bit about Kalamazoo College. So we are located out of state. We are located in Southwest Michigan. We're about 2.5 hours outside of Chicago and about 2 hours from Detroit. We are right in the center over there. And it is a stereotype that the Midwest is nothing but cornfield, but I do promise you that we are actually a thriving little metropolis. We have over 250,000 people in the metropolitan area, and about 30,000 to 40,000 of those folks are college students. So actually Kalamazoo, the city, is very much a college town. We've got lots of different activities for students to do, whether you're interested in career and professional development, so on-campus jobs, off-campus jobs, internships, externships galore. But we also have outlets for students who are interested in taking a break from the academics. So you've got nature preserves, a thriving art community and music community in the downtown. So there's lots of amazing things to do, even though we are technically in the Midwest. A little bit about Kalamazoo College. We are a small liberal arts private college. We've only got about 1,500 students total. So it breaks down to about 400 first-year students, 400 sophomores, so on and so forth. And we've got students representing all of the United States, plus about a 7 to 8% international student population on campus. Because we are so small, you're going to have a very individualized and personalized academic experience. So our average class size is about 18 students, and they are taught by the professors themselves. And your professor is going to know you by first name, know where you sit. They're going to know, how your day was, and be very accessible if you have questions about the material or maybe what you would like to do in the future. So here at Kalamazoo College, we have this thing called the K-Plan, and it's basically your guide through your 4 years at Kalamazoo. And there are 4 components. So the first is the rigorous and flexible academics, which basically means our open curriculum. So here at K, you as the student are in charge of picking which classes you want to take. So we do not have general education requirements, which means that they're basically those intro classes that regardless of what you would like to major in, you have to take those. We do not have those here. So for example, I graduated from Kalamazoo with a business and German double major, and all throughout the 4 years, I did not take a single science class. Not because I don't appreciate the sciences, and actually Kalamazoo is very well known for our sciences, but that just wasn't something that interested me. So their second component of the K-Plan is the hands-on education, so experiential doing. And we want our students to go out in the Kalamazoo community and get that real world experience, whether that's internships, volunteer programs, social justice conferences, whatever the case may be, we want you to get that experience. So whether you go on to grad school or into the workforce or wherever in life, you have that background and that knowledge. Next, we have our international and intercultural experience. That's the third component. Here at Kalamazoo, we have over 56 different study abroad programs lasting 1, 2, or 3 terms, which roughly equates to 3, 6, or 9 months. So our study abroad opportunities are very immersive and allow our students to practice a language, develop friendships with locals, and to really understand the idiosyncrasies of all the different cultures they're experiencing. And the last component of the K-Plan is the Senior Individualized Project, or our independent scholarship. And this is basically a senior thesis that all of our students do have to complete, even though we are undergrad. We do require the senior thesis, and it's an opportunity for students to create a project depicting something they are passionate about or something you may want to pursue as a career. And these projects are as unique of projects as the students creating them. So that's a little bit about Kalamazoo, and then I just want to talk a little bit about our application process. So we are a Common App exclusive school. That is the only way that you can apply to Kalamazoo, and we don't have a application fee, so it is free to apply. We do have these 3 ways of applying, either early action, regular decision, or early decision. And here are all of the deadlines for that. So the early action has already passed for this year, but you still have early decision options and regular decision options. And then last but not least, how can you learn more about Kalamazoo College? We are doing both virtual and in-person visits. So if you would like to travel to Michigan and tour around campus, you can, but you can also do that safely from your living room or wherever on your computer. The cool thing about our tours is that you will be on the phone with a current student. So it is going to be interactive and you're going to be getting your information. We also have open houses, virtual open houses, if you'd like to listen to student panels, and you can always connect with your counselor. I am your admission counselor, and that is my email right there on the screen. So that was a little bit about Kalamazoo College. If you have questions, I look forward to answering them. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much for that. So next, let me see. All right. Unfortunately, we don't have our LaGrange College rep either this evening. So next up, we'll hear from Lee University.
Hello, my name is Marky Dean, and I am the admissions counselor for Georgia students. I'm going to pull up my screen here to share. Let's see. Sorry, still takes me a second. All right, so Lee University is a private Christian university in Cleveland, Tennessee, which is about 30 miles from Chattanooga, and from the Atlanta area, it is about 2 hours. We have around 57 majors and 158 programs of study. We are an NCAA Division II school in the Gulf South Conference, so we play schools like West Georgia, Valdosta State. We are a very competitive school, so we take our sports serious here. We have over 100 plus student-led clubs that can be our Greek clubs, which are our fraternities and sororities, but they are service learning based. We have intramural groups, we have other service groups, just any group that you can think of or something that you're interested in, there is most likely a group for that. So full tuition without room and board would be around $19,000 a year. And then with everything, we put the highest number is $28,000, but that is including our most expensive dorm room, most expensive meal plan, all of our most expensive, just so you can see it will never be over that number. But whenever you apply scholarships, it really drops down. For an incoming freshman, you're looking more at about $25,000 before any scholarships. Let's see. So to apply, we have rolling admissions, so we don't have a deadline, and our requirements are a 2.0 GPA, a 17 on the ACT, or a 900 on the SAT. So even if you come below that, we still encourage you to apply because we look at the application in whole. Some different scholarships to quickly highlight for the ACT, the Dean's Scholarship is a 24 through 27 on the ACT, which is $5,000 a year. You need to receive that all 4 years. And then on the SAT, it's an 1160 through a 1300. After that, we have the Presidential Scholarship, which is $7,500 a year. And that is a 28 through a 36 on the ACT and a 1310 through a 1600 on the SAT. These two scholarships are not competitive. If you make that score, you will automatically get that money. Those are just a few. We have a list of over 300 endowment scholarships. They're all on our website, but that's a lot to read through. So when you would apply, you'd fill out a form and it'd narrow down all the scholarships that you're eligible for. So that's about all I have. Again, my name is Marky Dean. If you need anything, my email and phone number are listed below. If you would like to apply, I can give a free fee waiver code because there is a $25 fee. So if you'd like to write it down, it's all caps, Future Flame. And so whenever you apply, just type that in and it will be free for you. And that's about all I have.
All right, so next we will hear from Lenoir-Rhyne University.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Carly Schematics. I am one of the enrollment counselors for Lenoir-Rhyne University, and I am your specific enrollment counselor for your area. And I'm just going to share a little bit about my university with you all. So Lenoir-Rhyne is a small private liberal arts institution, and we are also a Lutheran affiliated university. Our undergraduate population falls just under about 2,000 students for our main campus in Hickory, North Carolina. I know that sounds probably pretty foreign if you are not familiar with this area, but Hickory is on the western side of North Carolina, closer to Asheville, Boone, going into Tennessee a little bit. That area, if you know that vicinity, we're about an hour outside of Charlotte, if that helps with any focal points. We do have 2 additional campuses, one in Asheville, North Carolina, as well as one in Columbia, South Carolina. These 2 campuses house some of our graduate programs that we have, and if we add up the population for everyone, we get to be a little bit over 3,000 students. So a bit on the small to medium side. And even with these numbers, we are still able to keep that small, intimate classroom environment. We do have a student professor ratio over 12:1 with an average class size of 17. Coming from a previous student, as I was a 2-time LR grad, nothing over 30 students in a classroom. I've honestly had a class with about 5 students in it, so it can get pretty small pretty quick, just depending. But again, this allows you to have those open-ended discussions, ask those questions, of course, get to know your professor and your peers, which I think helps build you in the classroom and prepare you for life after graduation. Our admissions process is relatively simple. We do have 2 priority deadlines. One has already passed. The other is coming up next week on November 13th. I've provided a fee waiver code for you on the screen here, so you are more than welcome to take a screenshot to keep that. And you can also send me an email if you miss it after today, because the fee waiver for the application is about $35. We are not a part of the Common App, unfortunately, but you can visit us through our main webpage, select apply, and the application process is as simple as that. For this current academic year, we are going to so students are not required to send their ACT or their SAT test scores. However, we do have a no harm clause in place. So should you submit your scores along with your transcript and your application, we will weigh the best option for you to give you the best outcome. And that's considering merit scholarships, and all accepted students do receive a merit scholarship. Some additional items that you can include your resume, letters of recommendation, personal statements, just other pieces that help us get to know you a little bit better as a student. But again, these are optional items. After our early notification has passed, we do roll into rolling admissions. So there will still be an opportunity after that deadline to be able to apply as well. But one perk that does come with that early notification deadline is a chance to come and compete for a few programmatic scholarships that the university offers. You will be in that first batch of students if selected to be able to apply for those. But even for those students that don't apply within that deadline or are not invited to that opportunity, it will still be open to you. You'll just have the opportunity after our first batch is through. Being a liberal arts institution, we have over 50 different undergraduate programs for students to choose from, but some of our top areas include the following that I've listed here. So nursing, natural and physical sciences, education, business, and the arts. Outside of the classroom, students can participate in a plethora of activities. Within athletics, we do have intramural opportunities as well as Division II level opportunities that students can try out for. We have 23 different intercollegiate teams on our campus. 11 of those are men and 12 of those are women, with that most recent addition being triathlon for our women here on campus. And again, like I said, we do have intramural opportunities as well for those students that don't want to compete on the university level. There are honor societies, undergraduate research opportunities. Students are more than welcome to study abroad. We received about a $5 million endowment in that area for study abroad. So there are a lot of scholarship opportunities if that's something that interests you. The media and the arts, theater troupe is a really big special opportunity for students on campus if you like to act or if you like to be in the midst of that and you don't even have to be a theater major to do it. We have over 70 different clubs and organizations, including fraternity and sorority life. So anything from EA Sports, Student Government Association, and the list goes on. And if there is an organization that students are interested in that we don't have here on campus, students are more than welcome to get that up and started if that's something that they are striving to do. We want you to have as much hands-on opportunity as you guys seek and want to make sure we have all that available to you. There are a few different virtual experiences that we do offer as well as on campus, and we invite you to visit us on our website to get those. And again, my contact information is listed here on the screen, so shoot me an email or give me a call. I would love to talk to you guys after today. Thanks so much.
Great. And so then we'll hear from the University of North Georgia, and then we will have plenty of time for questions.
Thank you, Joelle. I appreciate that. My name is Barrett. I'm representing the University of North Georgia with my colleague, Tyler Dominy, who will be answering a lot of the questions that may be coming in. Let me go ahead and share my screen. If I can get this. Okay, here we go. So at the University of North Georgia, and I will have to go through this because for time's sake, I'll have to go through this a little more rapidly. But the University of North Georgia, one of the questions that we do often ask is, where will you lead? We are a senior military college, and with that, we do have a leadership institution that makes up the University of North Georgia. Just to go through some of these slides, one of the unique things about UNG is accessibility. We are one university with 5 separate campuses that are listed. Of course, you can see them here. We have our Blue Ridge, Dahlonega, Gainesville, Cumming, and Oconee campuses. I don't have to list them out in detail, but you can see in the bottom of the screen really the makeup of the type of students that are coming to each campus. We have residential and commuter campuses that make up the University of North Georgia. At UNG, we do have over 20,000 students in enrollment. So we are considered a large institution, but each campus will vary as far as number of students that are present on campus. As mentioned before, we are a senior military college. So there are 6 senior military college programs in the country. Some of you students may have heard of schools like Texas A&M and Virginia Tech. Those are just to list a few of them, of the 6. But currently right now, the University of North Georgia ranks #1 out of all senior military colleges. One of the things and the common misconceptions, though, is when students are thinking about UNG, they think, well, if it's a military school, then I may not want to join the military, and that's fine. You don't have to. In fact, the Corps of Cadets only make up for 10% of our student population. So most of our students that are attending the university are regular civilian students. They're regular commuter students, residential students that are either living on campus or are commuting. Now, just to list some of our most popular majors, one of the questions that we often ask as recruiters to you students is, what do you want to study? Well, some of the most popular majors that are at the University of North Georgia are as listed. We have our biology program with a concentration in pre-medicine. We do have business management and marketing, psychology and nursing. And that's not to say that these are the best majors. I would argue that a lot of our programs are really good, but these are the most popular as far as what students are pursuing at the University of North Georgia. One of the things that we do push at UNG is student involvement. We want students to get involved and make the most of their college experience. Now, we understand and we know that when you go to college, you're obviously there to get a degree, to take your degree into the workforce. And then, of course, the end goal is ultimately to make a career for yourself. But while that is true, we also want you to enjoy your college experience. With over 300 clubs and organizations, there really is something for each student. And I always say this, and it's true, but every student has either something they're good at or they like to do. And if you can couple that with your education, it only breeds success. Now, the most important slide that I could probably show you today is the admissions process and requirements. As a disclaimer, for fall of 2021 applicants, if you are a senior, this year we will be test optional as well. So some of the requirements are you have to have at least a 2.8 GPA, a minimum of a 2.8 GPA to be considered for our bachelor's program. Now you may be thinking, well, I don't have a 2.8, I've got a 2.5 or 2.6. That's okay. If you have below a 2.8, you can always provide supplemental test scores as listed right here with the SAT and the ACT. The application checklist is pretty simple. It's fourfold. The first step, of course, is to apply. At the University of North Georgia, we use Georgia Futures as our application host site. So gafutures.org is where you would apply. That's the very first step. Students are always like, well, what do I do first? The first step is to apply. The second step, of course, is to submit official high school transcripts. And of course, to submit those and request those from your high school and your high school counselor. The third step, of course, is to submit a proof of lawful U.S. presence. That's just a fancy term for a driver's license photo, a passport photo, or even a copy of your original birth certificate. And the reason why we need that is to prove in-state residency if you are, in fact, a resident of the state of Georgia to receive the in-state tuition. For students that are wanting to pursue an associate degree, one of the unique things about UNG is the fact that we do have both bachelor's and associate pathways. So if you want to pursue an associate degree, which is a 2-year degree, you have to have at least a 2.0 GPA. Secondly, let's say that you're starting as an associate student and you realize, well, you know what? I kind of like college. I kind of want to continue to pursue, maybe get a bachelor's degree. Well, you can internally transfer. You have to have at least 30 completed credit hours, as well as a minimum of a 2.25 GPA. And then, of course, listed, you can transfer into our Dahlonega, Gainesville, or Cumming campuses. Paying for college, this is probably arguably one of the more important slides that I can show you. If you're paying for college, the number that I really want to just briefly talk about is this number right here. The most you'll ever pay for college at the University of North Georgia is $7,472. But of course, that number can significantly decrease if you apply for scholarships, specifically the scholarships that are offered within the state of Georgia, like Hope and Zell Miller. Living on campus, we do have 3 different styles. We have traditional, North Georgia Suites, which is our suite style, and then Owen Hall, which is an apartment. And then, of course, as well, you can see the meal plans that are listed of how much it would cost if you wanted to live on campus and have a meal plan. The last thing I will say is I recommend for all students, wherever you decide to go, visit the campus first. I certainly recommend visiting the University of North Georgia, and you can ask yourself if that's a good place for you when you graduate high school.
All right, so thank you to all of our presenters. And since we were missing a couple this evening, we do have quite a bit of time. So I would encourage all of our participants to jump into that Q&A and ask those questions. And in the meantime, I'll get us started actually. So while UNG is answering the question that's in the chat, I'm going to ask everybody else to turn on their videos, and we'll just do in presentation order. This is my favorite question. Just tell us something that's either a unique tradition or a fun fact, or just something that you love about your institution that maybe doesn't quite make it into the official presentation. So we'll go back to Kalamazoo to get started.
Great question. What is something that I really like about Kalamazoo? Well, so I graduated from Kalamazoo College, so there is quite a bit that I very much enjoy. But I think one of my favorite traditions that we have is this thing called Doggle. And Doggle stands for Day of Gracious Living. And essentially, during the very nice weather in the spring, a day of class randomly gets canceled, I guess is the best way to put it. And instead of having to do your exams or your essays or sit in your classes, you get to go to Lake Michigan, this beautiful lake. It's only about a 45-minute drive from Kalamazoo. So students get to go hang out in the beach, or they get to go to the downtown Kalamazoo, which is only about a 15-minute walk from campus. And students just get to enjoy the beautiful weather that we have here in Michigan during the spring. Otherwise, there's the night beforehand, Noggle, and there's a pizza party and music and dancing, and there's a t-shirt cannon. It's basically just an opportunity for all of us to get a break from the academics, but then also celebrate one another and enjoy the weather. So that's probably my favorite tradition here at Kalamazoo.
So I would say at Lee, every October, with the exception of this year, we have dorm wars, which is our huge tradition on campus. Dorm wars is basically what it's called. It's the battle of the dorms. So each dorm will practice. They get people in their dorm to practice. We have shopping cart races. So basically somebody jumps in and then somebody's pushing them. There's obstacle courses. There's a little trivia thing. So it's just a huge way for students to get involved with their dorms. And we have it in our gymnasium. And every team has a specific theme, and the theme is super top secret. You're not supposed to tell anybody in any other dorm, but people can create the most, interesting themes. And then you normally wear I don't want to say outfits or costumes, but you do dress it how like your theme is. So it is just a really cool tradition that we do. It's super fun, and a lot of the students like to participate in it.
Here at Lenoir-Rhyne, we have something a little similar to Kalamazoo, but not quite. But we do have what's called our reading days, which will happen a couple of days before midterms and finals, and it'll just give students a chance to not be in class and have a chance to decompress. And we have what's called Lake Hickory. That's not far from the campus where the students will go and kind of relax and be amongst each other. And we also have what's called our final flip, which instead of chicken and waffles, you get chicken and pancakes, which is what I prefer because I don't eat waffles. And so that's a really good time to have karaoke and other entertainment. And we also have our red carpet affair, which falls in the fall. And then in the spring, we have our spring fling. We might have a concert series that's going on outside, other activities for our students to participate in. And you'll also have those reading days in the spring as well. So a lot of good activities, a lot of fun activities.
I appreciate all the traditions so far that I've heard from all the schools, and I think one of the things that the University of North Georgia that we consider a tradition, and actually it's every day, every morning at 5 a.m. and every evening at 5 p.m. we do have what we call revelry and retreat. Since North Georgia was originally a military school, it's now just a regular, civilian school as well. We have a cannon that goes off. And at that time, every single person on campus, if you're on campus, whether you're faculty, staff, or even students, takes a moment to just pause, where we can all be united as, obviously we pause for the fact of, our military and those who have sacrificed. And it's everybody of different walks, different lives, where they can come together. And it really is a special moment, and we see it daily, which is one of the special traditions that we still hold. And we definitely appreciate it, UNG.
That's great. I always love hearing all of those. So we'll keep the Q&A open for another few minutes, but since we were missing a couple schools this evening, we will wrap up a few minutes early. So presenters, just keep an eye on the Q&A. Participants, keep those questions coming, and I'll be back in a few minutes to wrap things up. All right, so since it looks like the questions have slowed down a little bit, I want to give just another minute in case anyone else is still typing, and then we'll wrap things up shortly. Great. And with that, I will say let's go ahead and wrap things up a little bit early. So I want to say thank you to all of our panelists for joining us, all of the participants who asked great questions. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. And also, this is just one of many sessions being hosted. We've got another one starting at the top of the hour in about 25 minutes. So be sure to sign up for those additional sessions. And in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all the other session recordings at the same website where you registered. So thank you again to everyone who joined us this evening. I'm sure I'll see a few of you in just a couple of minutes. And to everybody else, have a great evening.